What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, I'm going to be shooting a 338 Lapua at some level 4 ceramic body armor made by LA Police Gear. And I'm going to be using 3 different types of bullets that I've hand loaded to near max velocities or max velocities. So I'm going to be using a 260 grain tungsten core AP bullet. And I've hand loaded that one to 3,225 feet per second, which is right around 6,000 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. And that's this round right here with the black tip. And then here I have a 300 grain Accubond. This is a bonded jacketed bullet. And I've loaded that to 2,975 feet per second, which is right around 5,900 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. And then finally, we have a solid copper expanding bullet that I've hand-loaded to 3,075 feet per second, and that generates around 5,900 foot-pounds as well. So all of these are generating right around the same muzzle energy, just under 6,000 foot-pounds or 6,000 foot-pounds on the dot. And I'm going to be shooting at the level 4 ceramic plate from 100 yards away. And the rifle I'm going to be using is a custom rifle built off of a CZ550 receiver. And I have a K&P barrel that's cut rifled. It's 26 inches long. I'm going to be using a Silencer Co. Hybrid 46 suppressor. I have these cool iron sights that my gunsmith installed for me. These are made by New England Custom Guns. Isn't it cool to see iron sights on a bolt-action rifle? These days, you'll never find that coming from a factory rifle. And here I have an Atlas bipod. Got a Bell & Carlson stock with an aluminum bed block. This is a completely custom rifle, so you're not going to find this anywhere in a store or on Gunbroker. And I have a Navratl Arms solid steel bolt knob. My gunsmith bead blasted the Mauser claw so it doesn't reflect light. I have some Alaska Arms LLC quick detach rings and an Athlon scope. So what do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think these rounds are going to penetrate through the level 4 ceramic plate at 100 yards? I'm almost certain the tungsten core will penetrate, but I'm curious how the Accubond and the LRX will do. It's a lot of energy, a lot of velocity. So let's see what happens, guys. Let's start shooting and take a guess, and let's see what happens. All right, guys, 338 Lapua, 260 grain, tungsten core, 3,225 feet per second versus level 4 ceramic plate made by LA Police Gear. Did we pass through? What do you guys think? And we did. Look at that. Wow. Just zipped right through. That is impressive, guys. I've shot these plates with my elephant gun, with my 300 Ultra Mag with steel core, and even those had a hard time penetrating, but this 338 Lapua just zipped right through the 260 grain tungsten core. Check that out. You can see all the way down to the ground, and look at this massive entrance hole. Could fit my whole thumb in there. Wow. So let's hit this now with some regular bullets. We got the 280 grain LRX solid copper hunting bullets, and we got the 300 grain Accubond hunting bullets, bonded jacketed bullets. Let's see if those will penetrate. My guess is they probably won't, but you never know. That is just insane. Look at the deformation there. I mean, even if this thing didn't penetrate, which it did, you wouldn't want to be hit by that. I mean, that would break your ribs. That would probably rupture some organs. Here's my fist for comparison. I have a big hand, so that's like a fist size deformation there. Just sliced right through that Kevlar like it was nothing. So let's hit it now with some regular hunting bullets and see what happens. All right, guys, so now we're gonna hit it with the 280 grain LRX solid copper hunting bullet. Should be going around 3,075 feet per second. Let's see what happens. All right, guys. 338 Lapua, 280 grain LRX versus level 4 ceramic plate from LA Police Gear. Here was our hit right up here. It's exactly where I was aiming. And look what happened, guys. The energy just completely blew apart the whole plate. You can see all the Kevlar. It got embedded into the straw here. Look at that. It's insane. Basically, the whole Kevlar separated from the tiles. The tiles are still intact for the most part, but just the adhesive separated. So let's see if we can pull this Kevlar out and see if it actually penetrated the Kevlar or if it just kind of bounced off. You can see it went in right here. Okay, you see my finger right there? Went in right there, and then you can see all the Kevlar was detached. So let's see what happens here. See if it actually penetrated. Wow, guys, this is absolutely insane. Look what happened to the Kevlar. Look at this. This is crazy. Just completely detached from the tiles. The tiles are still in good shape. Tiles are still in good shape, but the Kevlar detached from the tiles. And it does look like it captured the bullet, even though it deformed like crazy. I don't see any exit hole anywhere. Looks solid. I don't see a hole anywhere. Yeah, I think it captured it. It just deformed all the Kevlar like crazy. It basically went in right there, and it went through, and looks like it captured it, but it did not pass through. That's insane, guys. Look at that deformation. Here's my fist for comparison. Yeah, this would really do some serious damage to your organs, even though it caught the bullet. So I'm gonna see if I can flatten this out and shoot it again with the Accubond and see if the Accubond goes through. My guess is probably not, most likely not, but I'm gonna try to flatten this out. I'm gonna push down on this and set it up again and see if we can shoot it again with the Accubond. All right, guys, so all I did was just duct tape the Kevlar back onto the ceramic, and we'll shoot it again and see what happens. I'm going to aim down here where the Kevlar hasn't really been deformed yet and where the tiles haven't been hit with any bullets. All right, guys, 338 Lapua, 300 grain Accubond versus level 4 ceramic plate, 100 yards. Let's see what happens here. Muzzle velocity should be right around 2,950 feet per second. All right, guys, looks like we hit right below the tungsten core. There was our hit, like right here. And I want to show you something crazy. Look where all the Kevlar went. It went into the straw bale. So here was our 260 grain, and then here was our 300 Accubond. So I hit in some fresh tile right below the tungsten core, but this is like really stuck in the straw bale, so I got to pull it out, and let's see if it passed through or not. All right, guys, so here was our hit with the 300 grain Accubond, 2,983 feet per second, which is right around 5,900 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. And look at that deformation. That is insane. I mean, even though it caught the bullet, the deformation would really mess you up bad. I mean, that's like, I don't know, 10 inches of deformation. Here's the front right here. Okay. And there's the back. That is just ridiculous. So it's absolutely insane. It did catch the bullet though. I don't see any penetration here. Looks like it just bulged out, but I don't see any penetration at all. So very, very interesting results. I bet I could probably keep using this plate. It's just I would have to flatten out the Kevlar and duct tape it back to the ceramic tiles. But the front of the plate was right here, and look at that deformation. So that would really mess you up. So let's take a closer look at the Kevlar. I'm going to separate the layers of Kevlar and try to recover the bullets and see how many layers of Kevlar the Accubond and the LRX went through. All right, guys, so I took apart the plate and I want to show you how many layers of Kevlar these 338 Lapua bullets penetrated through. So here's our ceramic tiles, and here's all our Kevlar. And all of this Kevlar is what the LRX penetrated through. I would say probably about 80% of the Kevlar the 280 grain LRX penetrated through, and it got stuck right there. Okay, you can see it stuck right in there. Okay, and then here's our Accubond. Okay, so the Accubond penetrated through maybe just, I don't know how many layers of Kevlar that is, but you can see it's probably a few sheets of Kevlar, but it's not much. So the Accubond actually penetrated through a little bit more Kevlar than the LRX, which is interesting because the LRX is solid copper and the Accubond is copper and lead bonded together. So you would think the LRX would penetrate through more Kevlar because it's a harder material. But actually what I've seen in armor testing is when you use jacketed bullets, they'll actually penetrate through more Kevlar than solids. And the reason why is solids don't break apart as easily. They hold their mass and you have less fragments, and you actually want fragmentation when you're shooting at an armor plate, because the fragmentation, number one, breaks apart the ceramic tiles, which reduces the amount of protection. And number two, those fragments also cut through the Kevlar better because they make sharp edges versus solid copper bullets or solid brass or whatever. They hold their shape so they don't have these sharp cutting edges, okay? But with jacketed bullets, you have that sharp jacket material and it cuts through the Kevlar better. That's just my experience. And I've done a lot of armor plate testing, so basically just this much Kevlar is all that was left that would have stopped these bullets. Just this little amount of Kevlar, that's it. I don't know how many layers this would be. Looks like 2 layers. Okay, I mean, that is just nothing, you know. So the Accubond almost penetrated through. Look at the hole that it left there. It actually cut a little bit right there. So the Accubond penetrated through probably 95% of the Kevlar. I would say the LRX penetrated through maybe 80-85% of the Kevlar. And the tungsten core penetrated through all of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these bullets out of the Kevlar and we're going to weigh them just to see how much weight they retain. But I'm pretty impressed that just a regular hunting bullet would almost make it through a level 4 plate. Okay, look at the back right here where the Accubond hit. Pretty nasty little lump there. But basically just that amount of Kevlar is all that was left to protect whatever was behind this plate. In our case, the straw bale. Just that little amount of Kevlar. So it wouldn't have taken much more to penetrate through. I bet if I took 1 or 2 more shots in the same general area in the center of the plate, I would have easily penetrated through. Probably even just 1 shot right in the center here. After these tiles got blown out, basically it would just be all Kevlar to stop the bullets. And that's a problem because these plates rely on the ceramic to do half of the work. Just want to show you guys an example of what I mean when I say jacketed bullets are actually more damaging to body armor than solid bullets. So I just pulled the Accubond out of the Kevlar and you can see all this damage that was done by all the fragmentation. Okay, you can actually see pieces of jacket material right there, and you can see how it just cut this Kevlar. And going over to where I pulled the LRX out, you can see there's like really nothing compared to the Accubond. Look at the difference. Okay, so you see how a jacketed bullet, especially a bonded jacketed bullet, will cut through Kevlar better than a solid bullet will. All right, guys, so here are the bullets. Here we have the 280 grain LRX. Not much left of it, as you can see. Just this little piece of copper. That's it. You can see the bullet just peeled all the way back. Check that out. You can see the pressure grooves there still. And then here's our Accubond. And it appears the Accubond kept more of its mass than the LRX, which is interesting. These Accubond bullets are no joke. They're older, but they work. They hold their shape and they plow through anything almost. So let's weigh it and see how much weight it retained. 124.2 grains. And here's the 280 grain LRX. So actually the LRX had more weight retention, 130 grains out of 280 grains versus 124 grains out of 300 grains. So pretty impressive. But that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Stay tuned to my channel for more 338 Lapua content. If you want to see all of my 338 Lapua videos, they're in my 338 Lapua playlist, and I'll leave a link in the top right corner. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.